First of all, drafting defense and drafting the right guy defensively are two different things. If you take Jared Davis instead of T.J. Watt, then you got your own problem, okay? If you take, if you take Tease Tabor in the second round and he's the slowest corner, you got your own problem. Anza was a pretty good pick, but he helped the Lions for a couple of years defensively.
Sue obviously was great.
Sue is a Hall of Famer, you know? I mean, Sue was a little overrated for his, you know, like he was like Reggie White or something. No, but Ndamukong Suh is going to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He has Hall of Fame credentials at this point.
And we still sucked. I think it was more of an organizational thing.
Did they really suck when they signed Quinn at safety and they had DeAndre Levy at linebacker and Suh inside and then a couple pass rushers who could do some things like Averill? And did they really suck defensively?
No, that was our best defensive. I mean, that was the best section that we had with Schwartz there. But I still think, I mean, we've been drafting defense recently, and it hasn't panned out. Granted, that's the organization that we have.
Last year, too, did they draft defensively? Tell me how they did. First of all, for sure they did, right? But of their first seven picks, 5 of them were offensive players.
Of their last 7, you're saying?
And last year, the first 7 players that they took, 5 of them were offensive players. Only the Lions would take guards in back-to-back picks, 3rd and 4th round, and trade up to get a guard in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the 1st round in general, 1st round pick.
And if you look at their history, throughout history, they haven't drafted defensive players very much. And with the exception of Suh and Anza, you can make an argument for, and Darius Slay
Fairley
in the second
round. And
but Nick Fairley wasn't a good player. Nick Fairley was a bad pick. Just because he was a defensive player, he was a bad pick. He was a bad pick.
I mean, my point was just that we just named 5 players in 8 years. Or, no, I'm sorry, 5 players in 12 years. That's almost a 50% of picking defensive players. And then on top of that, the other years, it's offensive line. So it's not like there's this narrative in Detroit where we just keep taking receivers and it's not working. We've been drafting defense and offensive linemen, which is what you're saying.
Let me ask you this. When they had a pick in the top 10, when did they take a defensive player other than Suh? When did they take an offensive line over?
Okudah. That was, last year.
Last year, which was a stupid pick. Okay?
Agreed. Totally agreed.
Because it set everything up. Why didn't they take him? Why didn't they take Tua or especially Herbert? Because they didn't know what they were doing. That's why.
I think it
offended him.
I totally agree that a receiver at 7, I hate, but because there's so much talent, you can get a great receiver in the 2nd round of this year's draft. But the thing is that the narrative that we've only been going receiver in Detroit. I mean, I would say primarily defense and offensive line in the last 12 years is what we've been doing. That's the narrative.
It hasn't been that way, but if you say so, okay, I'll give you that. But tell me a time when a receiver in the NFL was a building block for a team that took off. I mean, was the, you know.
Yeah, the only thing I could do is, I could name off probably 10 first-round Hall of Fame receivers. But, again, I don't really know if they necessarily stepped into an organization and were plugged in right away. I mean, I know, like, Julio, Des Bryant, all those guys were Kelvin. I mean, Kelvin might have been the only one that stepped in. So I agree about the receiver thing. But I just don't think that... I don't know. I don't think defense is necessarily been working for us.
In the last 3 drafts in the top 10? Tell me.
What was that?
How many wide receivers were taken in the last 3 drafts in the top 10?
I can't answer that question. Yeah,
0.
Yeah. Just
the only receiver who was taken was Hockenson. Okay? I mean, the evidence on this is overwhelming. Now, does it mean they're taking a receiver would be the worst move in the history of the world? The odds are that it would be. The odds are overwhelming on that. You can sit there and you can try to justify, last year's, with Okudah, I think there were circumstances there that they didn't want to offend Stafford. They weren't going to take a quarterback for nothing. And if they're doing that type of thing here, if Justin Fields is there at 7th, or, Trey Lance turns out to be a great player and the Lions take a receiver for Goff, and then Trey Lance ends up being a star like Mahomes was at 10, or Josh Allen was a little bit later than that for Buffalo, and the Lions still aren't set at quarterback. You know what a disaster that would be? They got a receiver. 248-539-9797. Freddie, I'll get to your call coming up next. I'll talk a little bit about the Tigers as well. Love to hear from you, and I'll get to more of your ticket text. But just your thoughts on it, because the logic on taking a receiver at 7 is nothing but convoluted. Nothing but convoluted. If you just look at what history is, and you say what history is, in this case, it's analytics. It basically is. What are your odds of being successful as a rebuilding team by taking a receiver? 248-539-9797. Ticket text, same number. Unpack Caputo. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Benson's Building Supply. Accident-free on the drive right now, just heavy and slow, 75 northbound approaching 696. It slows down again from 14 Mile to Rochester Road and southbound near 12 Mile. For over 100 years, Benson's Building Supply has been supplying Michigan contractors. Their long-standing supplier relationships allow you to get the best possible materials on time because they deliver to your job site. Benson's Building Supply, the roofing authority, and more is currently hiring. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Bet River Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by Bet River Sportsbook, Detroit's hometown sportsbook. The Masters begins tomorrow. Let's take a look at the odds for Dustin Johnson to win the Green Jacket back in November. The odds on favorite at plus 950. Bryson DeChambeau, the second shortest odds, at 10-1. Then it's Justin Thomas at 11-1, followed by John Rahm and the resurgent Jordan Spieth at 12-1. But if you're looking for some value down the board, how about Patrick Reed, 35-1? He's won at Augusta before. Colin Morikawa at 30-1. Morikawa, one of the best golfers in the world over the course of the last year. And if we're going to go way down the board, Abraham Answer at 90-1. Answer in the final group back in November. So Answer, Reed, and Morikawa. If you're looking for some value down the odds board for the Masters. That's it for this Bet River Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by Bet River Sportsbook, Detroit's hometown sportsbook. Check out the latest lines today at BetRivers.com. I'm Nick Costos. Keep it locked here for more throughout the day. Must be 21, playable in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117.
My son and I were headed down to the store when he asked me why I always get an extra bag of nuts and an extra water. Well, it's a backup, I tell him. It's doubling up, so you're covered for later. He then asked me why I'm still avoiding crowded places and wearing my mask since I already got the vaccine. I say, son, it's the double up effect. It's doing our part in doing what's right, so we're protected. There are new forms of the virus, so we need to double up to beat them. I tell him it's for all our people in all our communities. So now, more than ever, we still need to continue to do our part to keep each other safe from the COVID virus.
Help prevent the spread of the new forms of the virus by continuing to wear masks that fit well, keep 6 feet apart when you're around others, and when it's your turn, get vaccinated. We can do this. Learn more at cdc.gov/coronavirus. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
My sweet cheeks feeling squeaky clean. When Charmin's rolling behind the scenes, Charmin TP gives me those cheeky clean feels. That ultra strong hype is all for reals. Those TP rolls got me a Charmin clean together. Cheek to cheek feeling oh so sugar.
Charmin Ultra Strong just cleans better. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
To remind pet owners that Progressive covers pets in our auto policy at no extra charge, we decided to make a really cute pet-themed radio commercial. Did you hear that, puppy? If you could see this, you would melt. I mean, just the softest fur. Oh, wait, he's trying to open this box now, and oh, the box is filled with kittens. If only there was some way you could see this. What a glaring oversight.
Get coverage for your pets with an auto policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage for cats and dogs included. The purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Odyssey is your new home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today.
Sets, the 1-2. Swing a line drive to the gap in right center field. Rounding second, heading to third is Scope. Badu around first, heading to second. Scope will be waved around third as he gets all the way to the wall. Throw to third base, Badu slides in safely. RBI triple for Akil Badu. He just keeps on going. 1-0 Tigers in the second.
You got Trout. You got Soto. You got Harper. And you got Badu. Akil Badu. Hey, he had a triple again. He came through. I'd love to hear from you today. 248-539-9797. Getting into the Tigers.